You're embarrassing me, Daniel, she hissed through her fake smile, her hand still resting on the wine glass as her friends laughed. They don't need to know you deliver pizzas for a living. That one line, just a pizza boy, landed heavier than any insult I'd ever heard in my life. The room went quiet for a heartbeat, long enough for me to feel the heat rise in my chest. My wife Lily was seated between her two college friends, both polished, both well off, both smirking at my discomfort like it was part of the evening's entertainment. I forced a smile that didn't reach my eyes. Right, I said, setting the pizza boxes on the kitchen counter. Just the pizza boy. They laughed. She laughed. And something in me broke. 2 years ago, Lily used to brag about me, about how I started a small pizza delivery service from my beat-up Honda, how I worked nights to build something real. She'd bring me coffee when I worked late and say things like, "You're going to make it big one day, Danny." Now she couldn't even look at me without rolling her eyes. I stood in her friend's polished living room, pretending not to care that I didn't belong there. They were the kind of people who drank wine they couldn't pronounce and talked about networking like it was a sport. I didn't fit in. But I hadn't realized that meant I didn't fit with her anymore either. After they finished their little dinner party, I grabbed my jacket. "I'll wait in the car," I said quietly. "Don't be dramatic," she snapped, following me to the door. "They didn't mean anything by it. You called me just a pizza boy." She scoffed. "Oh, come on, Daniel. It's a joke. You take everything so personally." "No, Lily," I said, turning to her, voice trembling. "You don't call the man who pays half the mortgage a joke." Her expression hardened. "You think delivering pizzas is paying the mortgage? You barely bring in anything." That one hit harder. I stared at her. "Wow. Don't twist my words," she said quickly, but her tone was sharp. "I'm just saying. I've worked hard to build a certain image with my friends. They're successful, Daniel. They're investors, lawyers. And I'm not good enough to be part of that world, right?" She crossed her arms. "Maybe not right now." That night, she fell asleep scrolling through her phone, still smiling faintly at something she was reading. I lay beside her, staring at the ceiling. My heart was heavy, not just with anger, but with a creeping suspicion that had been growing for weeks. The late-night texts. The sudden business trips. The distance. I wanted to believe she was just drifting away because of stress. But part of me, the part that had heard her call me just a pizza boy, knew better. The next evening I made a delivery run myself. I hadn't done one in months. Ever since the franchise expanded and I'd hired drivers. I still like to go out sometimes to remind myself where it all started. But that night something felt off. Her business trip had supposedly started that morning. I kissed her goodbye before sunrise. But when I checked our shared location app, one she'd forgotten we still had linked, it showed her phone still in the city. Downtown. At a hotel. I stared at the screen, my pulse thundering. And then without thinking I got in my car. The hotel was one of those upscale places that smelled like money. I parked outside, heart hammering in my chest. My mind spun with excuses, possibilities, lies I didn't want to believe. I walked inside, still in my delivery uniform. Black polo, company logo stitched on the chest. The receptionist gave me a polite nod. "Delivery for room 908, I said, making up the number. She smiled. "Go right ahead, sir." The elevator ride felt endless. When the doors finally opened, I stepped into the hallway, my palms sweating. Room 908 wasn't hard to find. It was her room number. I'd seen it once before on her email confirmation. I stood there for a full minute before knocking. Footsteps. Then the door opened. Lily froze. Her lipstick was smudged. Her blouse, slightly unbuttoned. And behind her, half-dressed, confused, stood her client. A man I'd seen before. The one who always commented on her photos. The one she called just a friend from work. "Daniel," she whispered, voice trembling. I didn't say a word. I just looked at her. Her face went pale. The man stepped forward, stammering. "Hey man, this isn't what it looks like." I laughed. It wasn't loud or bitter. Just hollow. "Of course it is," I said quietly. "You can keep her." I turned and walked away. For the next few days I barely spoke. I threw myself into work, managing orders, answering calls, trying not to think about the image of her standing in that hotel room. She texted. She called. I ignored her. But fate has a cruel sense of timing. 1 week later, I got an invitation to the same friend group's weekly get-together. I had no reason to go, but something in me wanted to. Maybe to confront her. Maybe to end things on my terms. I showed up in jeans and a plain jacket. She was there, of course, looking perfect in a red dress, pretending nothing had happened. Her friends smiled awkwardly when they saw me. "Didn't expect to see you here," one of them muttered. "Yeah," I said, sitting down. "Thought I'd deliver a message in person." Lily shot me a warning look. "Daniel, don't." Before I could respond, the TV in the corner flickered on. The host's voice echoed through the room. "Tonight, we highlight one of the fastest-growing local businesses in the city, Fireslice, founded by none other than Daniel Rhodes." Every head turned. On screen, there I was, standing in my restaurant, shaking hands with investors, explaining our upcoming franchise expansion. The segment went on. From delivering pizzas in his old Honda to owning 5 thriving branches across the state, Daniel Rhodes' story proves that hard work and heart still matter in business. The room was silent. Lily's wine glass trembled in her hand. I looked right at her. Guess the pizza boy did okay after all. Her eyes filled with tears. "Daniel, I didn't mean." "Yes, you did," I interrupted, voice calm. "And that's fine. Because now I finally believe you." She followed me outside, grabbing my arm. "Please, Daniel. I made a mistake. I was scared of being judged, scared of losing status." "Status?" I said, pulling away. "You lost something more than status, Lily. You lost me." She covered her face, crying. "I didn't sleep with him, I swear." "Don't," I said softly. "Don't ruin this with another lie." Her sobs echoed in the night air. I turned toward my car, and for the first time in months I felt free. A few weeks later, the interview aired nationally. Investors called. Emails flooded in. Fireslice was growing faster than I'd ever dreamed. And Lily? She sent one last text. "I saw your interview. You were incredible. I miss you." I stared at the message for a long time. Then I deleted it. Because some words once spoken like "just a pizza boy" never really leave you. People still ask why I kept working after the money came in, why I still deliver pizzas sometimes even though I don't have to. I tell them the truth. It reminds me of where I came from. Of the night I learned that worth isn't defined by titles, clothes, or the approval of people who never believed in you. It's defined by how you rise after being told you're nothing. So I drive. I deliver. And every time I pass that hotel on Main Street, I remember the man I used to be, the one who thought love meant forgiving everything. Now I know better. Sometimes revenge doesn't need shouting or fighting or grand gestures. Sometimes the sweetest revenge is success playing softly on a TV screen. Right in front of the person who once called you just a pizza boy.